Everything points to the fact that as humanity, starting today, we can influence what our future will look like. Therefore, it is of utmost importance that we learn how to effectively use our brains, as every thought counts. But as we look around, it not only seems like our reality is shaped by the thoughts of a few, but also by collective thoughts. When we contemplate the power of collective thoughts and human interaction, we become aware of humanity's unique ability to collaborate and create collective experiences. It's intriguing to think that many of the events and celebrations we cherish, such as music festivals, cultural festivities, and sports events, come into existence through the shared desires and efforts of individuals coming together for a common purpose. Take, for example, the celebration of a major music festival. Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of people gather to enjoy music, the atmosphere, and each other's company. What starts as an idea in the minds of a few organizers grows into an epic experience that creates lifelong memories for those who participate. It not only creates shared experiences, but also personal experiences, aspects of our lives that we need to rectify, learn to cherish, accept, or embrace. It's in these moments that life bends and folds so that we can share certain experiences with each other, gain similar experiences that revolve around interaction or observation of others, or simply have experiences where we meet the right people at the right time. However, it's not just about large-scale events. Even in our daily lives, we are constantly engaged in collective creation. At work, colleagues come together to complete projects, exchange ideas, and find solutions to challenges. Our interactions with friends and family result in shared memories, learning moments, and growth. Even when we meet unknown people, these encounters have the potential to enrich our lives, sometimes in ways we may not realize at that moment. What's also interesting is that collective thoughts are not limited to physical gatherings. In the era of the internet, thoughts and ideas can spread rapidly, globally, with the click of a button. Social media, forums, and online communities provide platforms where individuals with similar interests and goals can come together and collectively influence the world around them. It's important to understand that this collective power is not limited to positive experiences and events. Unfortunately, fear, hatred, and division can also spread rapidly if not countered by positive collective forces. Therefore, it is essential that we consciously manage our thoughts and emotions and strive for a collective focus on love, understanding, and cooperation. In essence, the idea that our thoughts and interactions are part of a larger web of human creation is a powerful reminder of our ability to steer the course of our own lives and our world. It emphasizes the importance of positive thoughts, collaboration, and cultivating an awareness focused on growth, understanding, and love for a better future. However, when collective thoughts are based on an emotion such as fear, for example, the fear of getting sick, we can unconsciously create more painful and dangerous situations on our planet that affect us all. It is noteworthy that on November 30, 2013, Paul Walker, one of the beloved lead actors in the famous Fast and Furious films, tragically lost his life in a car accident. However, the day before this tragic accident, a hoax circulated on the internet, falsely claiming that Paul Walker had already passed away. A false message that shocked and saddened millions of people. In my personal opinion, this sad and tragic incident illustrates how deep the power of collective thoughts and emotions can go. It raises questions about the influence of our collective consciousness on events in the world around us. Of course, we have our own free will in life, but external influences can significantly affect it. If people from the outside plant an idea in your mind, and you respond with feelings of anger, joy, frustration, or discontent, you are essentially forming a new judgment or creating a new thought. This new thought then sets in motion a manifestation process again, eventually leading to a new experience, even if the original seed was planted by others. It seems that when many focus their energy and attention on a particular thought or event, that thought or event can take on a kind of reality, whether it is accurate or not, whether we consciously chose it or not. This phenomenon reminds us that as individuals and as a society, we bear a profound responsibility for the thoughts and emotions we nurture and spread. It underscores the importance of awareness and cultivating positive, constructive thoughts and feelings to create a more harmonious and balanced world. On the other hand, nothing appears in our lives without us having attracted it in some way. This is where life becomes complex. The puzzle is always complete, even though we don't always see it. We also don't see the growth process of a tree. We can plant a sapling and occasionally, after weeks, months, or years, notice that it's growing, but in general we don't see its growth daily. Similarly, we don't physically see children growing daily. Life unfolds behind the scenes. It's only when we try to exert too much control that we actively interrupt, restart, or negate the manifestation processes. Judging plays a significant role in this, and it's unfortunate that many people aren't aware of it. There's no reason to speak of coincidences because nothing in nature is coincidental, and nothing in our universe is a mistake. That seems clear to me. When people spontaneously talk to each other, we usually think that the spoken words are the most important, while it's actually the emotions behind these words that truly matter. What's shared during a conversation is a person's emotional state, not just the spoken words. As human beings, we can feel another person's emotions when they are strongly expressed, but in reality, we can always do this. We just didn't know it. We weren't aware that we can always feel other people's emotions because we didn't pay attention to it. We constantly exchange emotional states, even without realizing it, simply because we've learned to pay attention to verbal expressions, which are just one form of energy used to define our feelings, and that's limited. When many people come together and share the same powerful emotions, for example, when watching a concert by famous artists, an energy field is created, a network of positive emotion frequencies coming together as one. That's the real magic of life and is often physically palpable. When we do things simultaneously and on the same frequency, we can feel a bit divine, experience what it's like to be connected to everything and everyone around you. When we actively pay attention to the atmosphere in a place, the emotions that arise, for example, when we enter somewhere or talk to someone, we realize that it means so much more than we used to think. It goes beyond a random event in your life. It's what you've consciously or unconsciously attracted to experience. It's a state of being that needs to be experienced at the right time and in the right place. We created the present in the past, and we are creating the future today. That's how life works. It's that simple. Our beliefs, judgments, the words we share, our private thoughts, all these forms of energy not only influence our state of mind in the coming days, but they also shape what our physical reality will look like in the future. Our actions, verbal expressions, and especially our way of thinking, bear the responsibility for all the problems we face. It's our own responsibility. Why do people keep experiencing the same kinds of problems over and over again? Isn't it because they refuse to change their mindset? It's clear that our minds couldn't immediately embrace the idea of divinity or whatever you want to call it. But now we're actually beginning to understand what's happening in our minds. Science is no longer the enemy of spirituality. In fact, science is starting to embrace spiritual concepts. Mainstream science is finally beginning to support the fact that our personal reality is merely a reflection of our own creative thoughts. We're learning more and more about the balance of life and starting to comprehend why our greatest dreams can also trigger our worst nightmares. We're beginning to see how our three-dimensional environment is actually shaped. We can all understand where our thoughts come from if we're willing to investigate this, study our life path, and analyze our past experiences. We are much more than we think we are, and we're not here without reason. Even if there's no specific reason, we can still enjoy life while experiencing the ups and downs. We can continue to strive for an understanding of the perfectly balanced structure of life, and we can always experiment with our power of thought by attempting to turn our ideas and dreams into physical reality. Understanding how the thinking process truly works is amazing. One simple way to become aware of our own creative or destructive power is by catching ourselves in negative thinking, to put it simply. If we truly care about our lives, we might want to pay more attention to our thoughts, as they primarily determine our emotional state and who we will become in the future. A significant portion of humanity is already trying to fathom this wondrous power by conquering fears, changing habits, and learning how to lead a spiritual life in a world saturated with negativity and ego. Everyone can come up with reasons to completely overhaul their lives, to create an entirely new personal reality. But why don't we all do that? Why isn't this a priority in our lives? Why do we waste so much energy, for instance, wondering what others think, or considering what others deem possible or impossible? Why don't we simply embrace that fear and doubt? Why do we keep falling back on our past judgments when it's clear that they are responsible for creating current circumstances? Why can't we realize that negative thoughts are the source of all problems? We are all tired of being manipulated by others. So why don't we just say, enough of that? We are truly free when we are no longer obsessed with what other people might think of us. We've created our own prison, diminished ourselves, when we are capable of creating anything we want. It's truly ironic. If we go back to our history books, especially to the Bible, it seems like we were created in the image of God. Doesn't that mean we are just part of the same divine and universal energy that fills the entire universe? It would be foolish to claim that our intuition, thoughts, ideas, emotions, and especially our ability to visualize, mean nothing. Why don't we acknowledge these wonderful aspects of our body as something amazing, almost divine? We can literally create an entirely new world in our minds, in the form of an idea, or using our imagination. Moreover, we know that ideas can be turned into reality. That's what creation is all about, right? So, if we understand that everything around us has been invented in this way, through thoughts, maybe we should take the following questions more seriously without necessarily going in a religious direction. Who are we, and where do we really come from? What more can we achieve? Are we divine creators created in the image of God? We all have the free will to choose what we want to believe in, and only we can decide what is possible or impossible. No one else can decide that for us unless we allow others to manipulate us. The question is, how long will we pretend to be something we are not? Or how long will we ignore the facts that we are part of something greater? In many paintings by great artists, including many masterpieces by Leonardo da Vinci, we can see perfect drawings of UFOs, or as they are called today, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. Why is this not shown by mainstream media? If we look into the stories behind these famous paintings, we find stories that resemble contemporary alien abduction stories, even stories that could support the fact that humanity has been genetically manipulated by extraterrestrial beings. Are we really going to turn our heads away and say that this is just our imagination desperately seeking answers? Or are we going to open our eyes and make room for the possibility that we have completely misunderstood religion and the so-called gods? It's only a matter of time before our old beliefs will fade away, just as people long didn't believe the earth was round and laughed at it, but eventually had to admit they were wrong. In any case, belief will always be something personal. It can only be imposed on us if we allow others to influence us. But truth is a whole different story. Truth is not always personal and can only be denied for a certain period of time. Life will not permanently hide the truth. Almost every form of life finds a way to evolve, grow, adapt, or expand. That's exactly what we are doing right now. We are now discovering more in an hour than we ever did in a whole year. Many of us don't care if something is scientifically proven or not, or if something is being investigated or denied by mainstream science or media, but it could give us the extra impetus to continue our quest for real evidence of a greater truth, to accelerate our evolutionary process. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Albert Einstein. Chapter 8. The Original Law of Attraction. The presence of the law of attraction, or what one could call the power of manifestation through thoughts, has not been scientifically proven or accepted by mainstream science at this time. Millions of people around the world have tried to apply this law of attraction in the past by using various thought methods, becoming aware of their emotions, addressing their own negativity, using daily affirmations, observing the behavior of others, and much more. But how is it that only a small number of people from this vast group have managed to fully understand this law, to comprehend how life works, and how to manifest their desires? All the while, this theory has gained so much attention globally. How did this small group of people succeed in predicting future events in their lives, making their dreams come true? And what methods did they use to create new realities? It's clear that a crucial element is missing in the original law of attraction, and the way it's presented and explained has significant shortcomings. It's understandable that skeptics challenge this theory because even those who want to believe still have many questions. Skeptics and believers share the same quest for strong facts, leading to a deeper understanding of the creation process. At this moment, the only proven fact is that the majority of people on this planet believe that there is something greater within us, something that connects our body and mind to everything in the universe. And indeed, this is supported by science, which has shown that we are all stardust. But the lack of understanding and the incorrect teachings can lead to frustration, disappointment, and even depression. It's time to understand what is truly happening in our minds so that everyone can decide whether they want to continue as another sheep in society, walking in line, or whether they choose to break free from life's struggles by working on their personal development. If we want to step out of our comfort zone to create something new, we must realize that society has underestimated the potential of humanity. We possess extraordinary abilities and have the power of creation within us. The realization that there is a greater power within us, and that this divine power allows us to create an entirely new world with our minds, can give us the courage to change ourselves and believe in ourselves. This can enable us to claim our right to freedom. However, consciously creating the life of our dreams can only be achieved if we understand how life truly works, and if we have complete trust in the unknown, if we believe in it wholeheartedly. When we look at the original but primitive theory of the law of attraction, we notice that there is no real standard to hold when it comes to finding real evidence that a mysterious attraction actually exists. Before the full story can be told, we need more evidence. The law of attraction is far from understood, but why did we stop searching for an even greater truth? A truth based on strong evidence and facts. Ceasing the quest for answers is precisely where we went wrong. The law of attraction was presented as the only truth, a theory that contained all the answers, and that's where we got it wrong. We need to change our current perspective and way of thinking so that we can ask questions again. Keeping our minds open while seeking new and smarter answers is the only option. Only by reopening our eyes, instead of sitting back contentedly, can we discover new possibilities and gain important insights into life. It's easy to understand that humanity has the power to create new physical items, gadgets, tools, and many other things using the power of the mind. We literally transform our thoughts into something physical by using our brains. This is a fact because everything around us has been invented in this way, and we do it continuously. It's an ongoing process. Look around you now at the things around you, and think about who created them, and how. How are the thoughts shaped and why? On the other hand, it is more difficult to find evidence that these physically manifested items are attracted by an unknown force, like the law of attraction, or this universal law of creation that you are about to read. I named my new theory the Universal Manifestation Theory, because it answers almost all questions about the structure of life, about who we are, where we come from, and what we are capable of. The theory can reveal the missing link of the power of creation and potentially explain the true nature of the law of attraction. It can also explain many other mysteries about the human race, the power of the mind, the ability to predict future events, and universal energy in general. Throughout history, there have been extraordinary individuals who were able to predict future events, such as Nostradamus, and others seem to have access to greater wisdom, knowledge far ahead of their time, such as Leonardo da Vinci. But what did they know and understand that others didn't? There is a significant possibility that they were aware of this theory that I wrote during a sleepless night under the full moon. I have searched for many years and experienced a lot of doubt and frustration, but I never stopped looking for the bigger picture that my mind could possibly comprehend. Key information I found during my research always led to greater knowledge. Information would surface and then disappear. It was a real roller coaster. Every time I thought I understood it, something new emerged, something grand. At one point, I couldn't even finish reading a book because by the end of the book, I was on a completely different level of consciousness. With much more knowledge than when I began reading, life gave me the opportunity to discover this greater truth. It allowed me to level up, to raise my awareness. Life can seem challenging, but if we keep our focus on our goals and dreams, it's all worth it once we get there. This is my truth. It doesn't have to be anyone else's truth. The universal manifestation theory could explain how the power of creation, or the power to manifest physical realities, works. This theory is based on Einstein's theory of quantum entanglement, and is supported by Einstein's scientific findings. It is purely rooted in the balance of life, a presence we cannot ignore or deny. This offers us the opportunity to come one step closer to discovering the real truth about all the mysteries of creation. The universal manifestation theory is of a universal nature and appears to be difficult to refute. I'm not claiming that refutation is impossible, and I'm certainly not speaking from human ego, but it just seemed logical when I wrote these words. It felt like it was only a matter of time before mainstream science would investigate or accept this theory as a possible or even actual truth. Ultimately, people will decide for themselves. My role was to bring forward this theory so that people can discuss and evaluate it. I am not a scientist or a spiritual person. This knowledge simply came to me from an unknown source. Some describe it as a conversation with God, others as tapping into the energy field, and still, others as a message or information from the subconscious mind. I don't really pay much attention to that. I simply wrote down what came to me, and yes, it may seem like it was dictated to me. If I were to provide an explanation, I would say that my subconscious mind pieced together all the puzzle parts based on the data I had gathered over many years of research. Revealing the truth about the creation process itself, the balance of life, and the truth about the divine power hidden in the human mind is something that should be taken seriously. However, it should also be something that engages the entire humanity. People should collectively evaluate, discuss, and experiment with this. One thing I want to make clear is that I have never claimed that this theory is the only truth. Far from it. I continue to search for more evidence of an even greater truth. I aim to gain an ever wider view of how our society and life itself have been shaped. My mind remains open, and I will never stop asking new questions. I truly believe that people themselves will ignite the debate and inquire about the divinity of humanity. The amount of knowledge will increase, and the true nature of our inner power will become known to humanity once people dare to speak out without fear of being ridiculed. Often, people fear the reactions of others, and they do not want to be labeled as crazy. In such cases, the emotion of fear prevails once again, an emotion we can overcome. We always have the choice to succumb to fear and accept our weakness, or to conquer our fears with courage and strength, having faith that everything will be all right. Experiments are necessary before a new theory can be accepted as truth. In this case, experiments have already been conducted by thousands of people who have attempted to apply the law of attraction. The only thing that remains is to gather a small portion of the data, a few thousand detailed reports of people's experiences with the law of attraction, including the thoughts they had and what they actually experienced. This collected data can then be evaluated and compared with the universal manifestation theory that you will read shortly. At this point, there does appear to be a strong correlation. It's noticeable that people who wanted to attract a certain experience often first experience the opposite. This phenomenon points to the balance of life, and that's what intrigued me. The original theory of the law of attraction states that thoughts create physical realities, and that time and space bend to the manifestation of a thought. This theory also claims that physical manifestations occur more quickly when more emotions are attached to a thought. In other words, the emotional power one invests in their thinking plays a crucial role. We are talking about consciously attracting events in our lives through our thoughts, predicting future events, and remotely creating future experiences from other points in time. The law of attraction, as popularized in the film and book The Secret, indeed seems to contain significant truths. However, at the same time, there appears to be an essential element missing in the original theory. This theory does not provide hard evidence that physical realities are actually attracted by some external force. This law of attraction can never be proven without a comparison to an existing theory we can rely on. To prove something, it must be supported by facts that we cannot ignore. The law of attraction is a theory that millions of people around the world are trying to understand and accept as truth. However, due to the lack of understanding and the absence of all necessary information, people actually have no idea what this universal law really is or how it works. There are missing reference points and valuable information that can provide hard evidence. That's what we truly need before moving on to the next chapter, which involves conducting large-scale scientific experiments, gathering data to evaluate people's experiences, learning more about human capabilities, and ensuring we are on the right track. A deeper understanding of the creation process will undoubtedly usher in an entirely new era for humanity. An era where knowledge or wisdom forms the foundation, and that is exactly where we are heading. The universal manifestation theory offers a solid explanation for life and its wonders. It seems logical while providing us with an entirely new perspective, a new outlook on life, and a whole set of new questions. When we talk about human capabilities, we certainly have much more to learn. On the following page, you will find a graphical presentation of the original but misinterpreted law of attraction. Problems with the original law of attraction. Uncertainty about timing. One of the main issues with the original theory is the lack of fixed timelines. While it claims that thoughts can manifest realities, it doesn't provide a concrete method to determine when or even if a thought will actually be realized. This leads to frustration and uncertainty for people attempting to apply this law. They cannot predict when their efforts will bear fruit, often leading to doubt and discouragement. Based on personal belief. The law of attraction is largely based on personal belief. It requires individuals to strongly believe in their thoughts and desires before they can be manifested. However, this belief is difficult to measure and can vary from person to person. Consequently, it can be challenging for some individuals to cultivate the necessary belief to successfully apply the theory. Lack of hard evidence for attraction. The original theory of the law of attraction suggests that thoughts create physical realities and that time and space can be influenced by these thoughts. It claims that emotions affect the speed of manifestation. Despite these claims, there is a lack of compelling evidence that there is an actual force that attracts physical events based on thoughts. This absence of tangible evidence makes it challenging for scientists to take the theory seriously. Limited acceptance in science. The law of attraction is generally not widely accepted within the scientific community. The concept of thoughts manifesting reality and the measurements of emotional power are problematic and difficult to validate using the rigorous methods of science. Consequently, the theory is not taken seriously by many scientists, resulting in a lack of scientific experiments and research in this area. Social stigma and ridicule. People are often hesitant to openly discuss their beliefs regarding the law of attraction, fearing ridicule or mockery. The lack of scientific validation and the portrayal of the theory as pseudoscience in popular culture contribute to this social stigma. This deters many from sharing their experiences and beliefs. Some success stories but little understanding. While some individuals have reported success stories when applying the law of attraction, many struggle to achieve consistent results. This has led to confusion and self-criticism among those who fail to attain their goals. They often see themselves as the cause of their failures, unaware of the complexity and lack of clear guidelines in the original theory. In summary, the original law of attraction has several challenges and shortcomings that make it difficult to be considered a scientifically sound concept. These issues include uncertainty about timing, the subjective nature of personal belief, the lack of tangible evidence for attraction, limited acceptance in science, social stigma and ridicule, and the absence of clear guidelines for success. These challenges have prompted a need for more research and experiments to further clarify and validate the theory.